Hello, Gutsy Women, and welcome to this interview that I am doing today for you all. And I'm just so pleased that I've got the opportunity to actually speak to this lovely lady, Cecily Henderson. I absolutely adore this woman. She is turned into such a good friend. We haven't actually physically met, and I'm dying for the day when we can actually hug each other.
Yay.
And it's going to be so wonderful. Cecily is a functional medicine practitioner, and she has got a stream of titles and degrees and you name it coming out of her ears. And she does such wonderful work with women who've had breast implant injury, implant disease, all of that kind of thing. And her work is just phenomenal. To get her work recognized, it's been a real uphill battle and still not over. So Cecily, I'm so delighted that you're here today to talk to the Gutsy women who are in this group, because a lot of them have chronic illnesses and they want a new way, a different way of healing, of feeling better in their lives, feeling that they're not going crazy. And we work with the mind and body connection. So your interview today is going to be so helpful to them. Can you tell the people who you are, what you do, and what brought you to where you are now? You've got one hell of a story. I know that.
Oh, Dee, thank you for that beautiful introduction. I love your introductions. It's just amazing. And I'm really excited to be here because spreading the word about breast implant illness is very important to me and sharing my story. So the how I got here basically is I had cancer when symptoms at 24 years old, was diagnosed with cancer at 26, and then it came back when I was 30. And it was very lonely, if you can imagine, being very young, not really having anybody to talk to about it. I was misdiagnosed. They had diagnosed me with psychosomatic symptoms during when I had cancer. So it took them, basically 6 years to remedy all of the cancer. And that was hard for a young girl. My husband took me to a functional medicine clinic when I was 25 years old because he didn't know what to do. My body was deteriorating. And that was my first introduction into functional medicine at 25. And they were so caring and so wonderful. And I thought, this is something I might want to do. And then after I had cancer, I ended up getting implants. I had lost a lot of weight. So I got breast implant surgery and then ended up sick for 14 years. And you know my story where I was paralyzed for 7 of those years because of a breast implant rupture. Yes, silicone does go to the brain. It passes the blood-brain barrier. It does cause neurological conditions and problems and issues because I am now walking after taking out my implants and very walking, happy, healthy, doing so much better now, helping other women that have, problems or issues with their breast implants. So yeah, that's why I'm here. Spread the word, help people with a lot of different things in functional medicine, but mainly focusing on, gut health, mold, and I also am a practitioner that does mold. I'm mold certified. So people that have been exposed to mold, also they'll have a lot of gut health issues. And so, that I wanted to incorporate that into my practice as well. But that's why I'm here. And
Mm.
I'm so glad to be here because we need more women like you. We need, practitioners and coaches to step up because a lot of people are suffering and have these symptoms and are going through struggles and they feel very, very much alone.
Mhm. Thank you for that, Cecily, because it's a story that a lot of people actually go through when they become ill and they don't get the results or the support from allopathic medicine, the medicine that we've been used to for over 100 years now, of take this pill, kill this pain with that. Instead of going deeper into what's actually creating the symptoms, we get fobbed off with pharmaceutical drugs a lot of the time. And I'm not saying that sometimes pharmaceutical drugs can be the most immediate first aid. So I'm not actually dismissing that sometimes. I've worked in mental health for a long time to know that that's the case. You know, you can't do talking therapies without the brain being receptive. And sometimes we need that. The person needs to have that. But for you, when you were going through your situation back then, when you were 23, 25, and right the way through all of that, what effect did that have on your mental health?
Oh boy. Yeah, that is the question. I started, that's when I started having some panic attacks because I was thinking, something's wrong. And I was being told by all the doctors, it's in your head. You need to go see a psychiatrist. You need to get on medication. And not only did they tell me that, they told my husband that as well. And so, most of my family thought that I was a hypochondriac and that that nothing was wrong with me and I was just acting out. And so mentally, when something's wrong with your body and you're going through all these symptoms and somebody's telling you it's nothing wrong, you go through these different processes where you're like, in denial. Oh no, I'm definitely something's wrong. You're so wrong. And then you go through, okay, accepting it. All right, something's wrong with me, but all these symptoms I have to ignore. And so you go through this process, which is very lonely. And you come to the realization that something is wrong with me. It has to be something's wrong with me here. And that's when the mental health kind of steps in and the anxiety and the depression and, the self-doubt and the self-worth goes down. And it's such a struggle because you do think, hey, there is something really wrong with me, but it's up here. And I went through that for years, thinking that it was just me and I was the problem. It's very validating to find out that there is something going on. And that's another reason why I became a practitioner, is because I wanted people to know it's not just you. It's not just your thinking or your mental health. There really is something going on. Now, it does come into play, as you know, the mental health part of it, the mindset part of it absolutely affects you physically, but they all go together. And people need to understand it's the whole body that you have to look at, not just one aspect.
That's right. And in your case, there was some actual physical poison going into your system that you weren't aware of, that was causing your immune system to actually create that, that the symptoms that you were having, the poisons, and the cancer. And so in that respect, there was something physically poisoning your body. The actual mind aspect of it was just exacerbating the whole thing, because it was taking, your immune system was then having to deal with those hormone releases that were actually coming from the mind and body connection to what was going on. If nobody's believing you, then that's going to make your symptoms even worse, isn't it? And so this vicious cycle that I would imagine that you didn't think you were ever going to get out of or get off of.
Yeah, no, I didn't think that I was ever gonna get out of it. And you're right, it is a vicious cycle. You have these symptoms and then your mindset comes into play where you have that anxiety that, oh my gosh, nothing's wrong with me. Why am I feeling all this? And then your body gets even worse. And then you have more symptoms. And you're right, it's just a cycle. And the way that, it's hard to say exactly what got me out of that cycle, but I think finally realizing that there is something wrong, that there is something really going on physically, and then pursuing that with tenacity. And that's what I did. Is once I am a woman of faith, and I felt very guided. In fact, I had a powerful moment where the thought came to me that your implants are making you sick. Something's wrong with your implants. And I had never heard of breast implant illness. I didn't know anything about it, or that there was even such a thing. And so pursuing that after I got that idea, and then finally realizing going down that rabbit hole of, oh my gosh, maybe it's not my implants, maybe, doubting myself, doubting what I was feeling, and almost not taking those steps to get them out, because I was being told by doctors, nothing's wrong with you. Everything's fine. We did a CT scan, we did a mammogram. There's nothing wrong with your implants. And then taking that leap of faith that yeah, I'm going to find a surgeon, I'm going to get them out. And I did. And it turned out to be an emergency procedure. It was a 6-hour procedure, because I had one side was black with infection and the other side I had that rupture. And it was just like pieces of silicone broken off. And they had, my surgeon had to really remove everything meticulously so I didn't go septic. And if it wasn't for me listening to my intuition, listening to my body, I probably wouldn't be here right now. And so that's what I want to come across is, please listen to your intuition, because yes, your mindset plays a huge part in the way that your body is feeling and how you are manifesting illness. But you could be exposed to mold. That's the one thing I'm learning. Mold affects your brain. You could be exposed to environmental toxins. You could, all these different things that affect your body, and then combine it with the mindset. It's real. And I just want to get the word out there about that.
And that's it. It is a huge message to get out there, that we have to heal ourselves through a completely holistic 365-degree process, don't we? That the
Yes.
whole thing of, yeah, I'm not very good at maths, but yeah, 365 degrees.
You got it.
I got it right. Okay. And so in that respect, it's about looking at all of it, and not just listening to one particular, get a second opinion, get a third opinion if you need it. But really, it's kind of like, so what has changed? And it's about knowing ourselves as well, I believe. It's like, if we start to listen to our bodies in the way that we used to back in the day, then we stay connected, and we know, we sense. And like you said, you have your faith, and you got this download, if you like, of your breast implants are actually killing you. Then we've lost the knack of listening to our intuition. And it's really good to get back into, what is your body trying to tell you? And if there's nothing, no other changes in your lifestyle, nothing could have, whatever, then we have to look at, how do we reconcile that with what we're thinking and feeling, don't we?
Yeah, absolutely. And I've had clients come to me and tell me, everybody's telling me there's nothing wrong. Everybody, I've gone to all these doctors for 12 years, or I've got, I've been to naturopaths. And I'm not saying anything negative about this. It's just, these are very difficult cases. And because I've been through what I've been through in my experience, I say, okay, let's break this down, and we'll troubleshoot. And I'll talk to them, and we'll just narrow it down. And I would say 99% of the time, the client will figure out, oh my gosh, just by asking those questions and getting down to that root cause, and then finding out, okay, it was mold, or it was that you were being exposed to some sort of environmental toxin, or something that was causing their symptoms. And it is incredible when you start to really get to that root cause and connect with somebody, and actually believe in them, believe that there is something going on. And it just it fills me to know that people, when they trust their intuition, it really does help them find answers.
Yeah, definitely. And now that you had those implants removed, that's still not the end of your story, is it?
No, it's not. It left me with an autoimmune illness. So one thing I really love doing, I'm a nutrigenomics practitioner, so I talk a lot about genetics. And we have different, they're genetic mutations, which are called SNPs. And these SNPs, when you have combinations of them, can actually cause certain, genetic autoimmune or cancer or diabetes. It's fascinating what they're finding now. And so with me, I have a genetic predisposition that was turned on. The expression was turned on, and now I have this autoimmune illness that I have to live with for the rest of my life. But I've been able to manage it, which is a good thing. I want to give people hope. That's the whole reason that, I've created what I'm doing in my advocacy, is giving people that hope. Because even with an autoimmune illness, even with, digestive distresses or whatever you're going through, there are things you can do to manage and to make your life better. And it's through functional medicine, holistic medicine, integrative medicine, integrating, the Western medicine alongside of the functional medicine. So I want people to know there are things you can do, and not to lose hope, just to keep going, keep finding those answers and connecting with people that know how to help you.
So where are you at now with how
Well,
you're managing?
yeah, I mean, I'm not on any medications except for thyroid, because I don't have a thyroid. And I got off of everything. I was taking these biologics, which are TNF inhibitors. They are very hard on your immune system, taking them for years, and I'm off of everything. I don't take NSAIDs. I don't take anything at all. It's all managed through diet, lifestyle, supplementation, all of that. And I'm telling you, it is the most wonderful feeling not to be on medications, and knowing that I have this real serious autoimmune illness and I'm not taking anything for it. So I want people to know you can get there. It is definitely possible.
And that is the power of the mind as well, isn't it? That is the power
Exactly.
of, I'm doing that. I'm doing this for myself. And I imagine, from my own experience, when I started to take full responsibility and control over my own health and didn't abdicate that to outside people, and I just took all the information in and started to apply it to my own body and to my lifestyle and who I am and how I think and my personality, because it all feeds in to how our body responds. That sense of freedom that it gives you and sense of control it gives you is unbeatable. I don't know about you, but that's how it felt to me. It's like, I'm not a victim. I'm actually taking control of my life.
Yeah, I love that. What you said. Yeah, you're right. Because you get in that victim mentality. And once you're out of it and you take back your health, it's freedom. You feel so much freedom.
Mm.
Even if you revert back, let's say you have a bad day and I have a flare up. I know exactly what to do to help my body heal itself so that the next day is going to be okay. And people, I mean, your body best. Everybody knows their body better than anybody else. And so listening to yourself and your intuition is the best thing that you can possibly do.
Yes, without doubt. Without doubt. I'm 100% behind you on that one. And so, Cecily, can you tell people what you do now then to help women with breast implant illness and mold and gut health and all of those things?
Sure, of course. Well, so I usually do like a free consultation just to kind of go over and take a health history, because it's very important to go over through the entire health. And then I offer functional medicine testing, which is great because it's better than guessing. Because a
Mm.
lot of people, you're guessing, oh, this is what the lifestyle you're supposed to have, or this is the supplement, or this is the food. Well, you never know. And so a lot of times I was just guessing or trying to help people without knowing. And that's why I added functional testing into it. So you know exactly what they're missing. If they're low on vitamin D, if they're low on omegas, if they have a C. diff infection, in their intestinal tract, you just having that functional testing can tell you exactly, okay, here's the path we're going to take. And then from that point, I come up with a personalized plan for that client, and then we walk through it every step of the way. In fact, I had a lovely client just give me a testimonial, and I love and adore her. She had 12 years of having pain, gut pain, and she lived with that. She couldn't eat hardly anything at all. And I've been working with her the last year, and she's actually starting to eat ground beef and things that she would never be able to eat, and had her first colonoscopy be normal. And so it's a wonderful feeling. People can, when you listen to yourself and know that there are answers, that right there, that mindset. And that's why I kept telling this client, your mindset, you'll get there, you'll get there. Just keep going, and don't give up. Keep on the program, because it's not just all me. It's that person who is going to stick to that plan and continue to move forward and do what they need to do to get better. And that's where the success comes in.
Definitely. It is about us actually embracing that, not just doing what you're told, but actually what you've just said is like embracing your element in it as well, and how we work with our bodies and what we think, what we actually think we're capable of, and what we take responsibility for. So thank you so much for that. So I wanted to ask you another question. It's gone completely out of my brain. So if it comes back in a few seconds, I will actually ask you that question.
It's all good. It's all good.
Yes, it just went out of my brain. I was listening to you and I thought, oh, I must ask her that question.
I go off on tangents sometimes, so it's all good.
Yes. And so really then what I want to do before we end this fantastic interview is to just say to the audience that if anything that Cecily has actually mentioned today resonates with you, or has hit a chord, or whatever you want to say, if you know somebody that is poorly at the moment, who has had breast implants or other kind of implants, because they don't just implant the breasts now, you can get bottom lifts and all sorts of things. That's what they have, these things put in their buttocks, don't they?
And it's the same thing. It's the same thing as breast implants. And it'll cause a lot of problems.
Yeah. And so if any of the audience know anybody that's had that or contemplating that, please send them into the group. Listen to Cecily's testimony here of how many women that's what I was going to ask you. How many women have you actually helped and supported now with breast implant illness?
Well, I mean, as far as clients, I've got several clients that I'm helping, but as far as meeting women online, I work with between about 60 to 70,000 women that are just on Facebook. Just to give you an idea of the vast numbers of women that are being affected. A friend of mine did an evaluation, and she found that there was 432 Facebook groups dedicated just to breast implant illness. 432. There was 152 Instagram groups that were dedicated just to breast implant illness, and there was over a million videos on YouTube talking about breast implant illness. And so I personally, about between the groups that I work with, because I'm also part of a nonprofit organization to help women, excuse me. So there's about 60 to 70,000 women online that are in need of support and help, who are going through breast implant illness. And there's so many more that are out there that don't know. And so that's why I'm doing this work and trying to spread the word that it is a real thing and it's not in your head. I've done lots of interviews with doctors who specifically work with silicone and are leaders of silicone research. And so this is real. It's just not a fad. It is a thing. So I really appreciate Dee having me on, being able to spread that word. And because there is a lot of women out there and that don't even know that their autoimmune illness, their connective tissue disease, their arthritis, their neurological disorder, their dry eyes, their brain fog, all of that is based on because they have implants.
And that is the scale of the problem, the scale of the issue, and that many people in the medical profession are denying?
It's mostly the surgeons because it's lucrative.
Mm.
They make hundreds of thousands of dollars in kickbacks. A breast implant, just to give you an idea, a breast implant surgery takes about an hour. So putting implants takes an hour. It takes a good surgeon 6 hours to remove them. And so they can make a lot of money just doing implant after implant after implant because it's so easy to put in. And that is why these surgeons do not want this word to come out, because it's very, very lucrative. They make a lot of money.
Yeah. Follow the money is a very common saying these days, and we have to be aware of that. Yes, the problem's huge. So once again, thank you, Cecily, for being on, and for people listening, women listening on this interview today. If you know anyone with breast implant and they may be feeling sickly or are complaining that they're always feeling unwell, bring them into the group. Let them listen to Cecily's testimony and to the work that she's doing, and let them hear it, because the sooner they get the support and help they need, the better their life's going to be. So it's really, really an important subject. So thank you again. And we will see you again. I'll see you again, Cecily, very soon. And
Yes.
I will see all of the Gutsy women in this group another time on the next interview, which shouldn't be very long today. Okay.
Okay. Thank
See you soon.
you. Thanks,
Okay.
everyone. Thanks,
Thanks,
Steve.
thanks for watching, everyone.